Hi everyone, my name is Megan and welcome back to What's Your Why. Thank you all so much for clicking onto this video. This is an episode that means so much to my heart because it's a conversation that I had with one of my best friends, Jordie, who is such a legend. Like, she's so amazing and it's so hard not to love this girl. Jordie has already been through so much in her life and she's already chosen the path to inspire others through her story and help wherever she can. And like a perfect example of how she did this was by sharing the story of her toxic and abusive relationship online in hopes to raise some awareness for Women's Aid, which is such an amazing cause. And I guess when Jordie posted that video, it had thousands and thousands of responses to it and shares and comments, and this is obviously a topic that needs to be talked about more. So we explore that a little bit in this video. Jordie, I'm really proud of you, so thank you so much for doing this video with me.
So my name is Jordie. I've just turned 21. That feels so weird. I feel like I was 20 for like 5 years. And I'm living in Wexford right now. I moved back down from Dublin during the first lockdown, which is nearly a full year. So I've just been living at home with my family, which has kind of been nice. At the start, it was like really nice because I kind of just felt like I could like relax at home. I feel like around now I'm getting a bit itchy to do other things. Like I'm kind of just getting a bit bored of it all. Like it's just been the same thing kind of every day.
And yeah, like if that's kind of who you are, I'd love just to get a bit of a sense of how you're doing.
I'm doing good. Like obviously the last few days have been bigger days than like the normal. I think the past few days have kind of shown me how many people I do have. And before the video, I think you kind of forget that when you don't talk to many people.
I'd love just to know a little bit about what the video was and how you're doing since posting it, because some people watching this might have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, so I posted a video, yeah, I think it was on Tuesday after seeing another girl's video on Instagram about her. She labelled hers her domestic violence story. I've labelled mine my abuse story. In an abusive relationship that happened, I think it was 2 years ago now, like 2 or 3 years ago now. So that was kind of the big part of the video. But the past few days, like the amount of people that I've been in contact with that like I don't know or that like know me from a mutual friend that have had a similar story has kind of like blown me away a bit. But like has like proved the whole reason why I put the video up was to get in contact with people who have been in relationships like that, or they have treated someone like that, or they're in a relationship and that's how they treat their partner. It was kind of just like kind of wake a few people up and be like, this isn't how you treat people, like this isn't normal. And I feel like a lot of people our age see relationships and like think that like the jealousy and the control of like what you wear and where you go and who you're with is like just comes hand in hand with having a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a partner, which like it needs to be brought up to younger people in Ireland that that's not even just Ireland, in the world, that that's not a normal relationship. And I think that's just what we see in relationships when we're young. And I think I put the video up for people to be like, if you're being treated like that, it's not normal. But definitely if you treat people like this, you need to like check yourself, because it's not a normal relationship. Yeah.
What's your journey been like, realizing that that's not the normal way things should be?
Like I kind of thought my whole world was going to crumble when I had left him, because my belief was that he was the only person I had in the world. But like after it, I think like the relationship ended and there was a few weeks where I was like, oh my God, I don't really know myself. Like I actually don't know who I am. Like I definitely like changed myself completely in the relationship to form exactly what he wanted in a partner and not who I was. But like when I was in that relationship, it was just him. And then I was kind of like a little bit of an add-on. Whereas like, I think the realization that like there's actually two people in a relationship and you can bring both of yourselves to a relationship, and like you are both so different and you're not meant to be the same person, but you're also, if you feel like you need to change the other person in any way, then you're not meant to be together. And I think that's what I'm seeing now. But also what I've seen in the 2 years that I've been away from that relationship, and I've found myself and I've been like, no, I actually don't need to listen to someone if they're going to tell me what to do. Like obviously there are some people that need to tell you what to do. Like when you're growing up, your parents do, but like my parents were never even that strict on those things. So I think I got into the relationship and I was like this is so strange. But now I think if someone tries to even tell me what to do, I think I just don't listen anymore. Like it's just like there's a part of my head that's like, okay, I'll listen, and if I like can take on some criticism or some like advice, I'll take it on. But if it's like kind of like bullshit telling me what to do, I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I don't have that space in my head anymore. Like, I think that's kind of just faded away. Like, I remember when I was in the relationship, I think it was like spun out that like put a thing up on Instagram, and it was kind of one of those things that just like pop up. It's like, it was one of the ads. And it was like 10 signs that you're in like a toxic relationship. And like you swiped across and there'd be like a different sign on each slide. And I remember I saw this, like, I think I saw it either early on in the relationship or like closer to the end of the relationship. And I like swiped across and every single one was happening except like one. And I was like, shit, like that's, and I sat there and looked at it and talked to myself a little bit about it. And then I was like, no. And I pushed it away. And it was kind of those signs that I did push away, because I was like, if this relationship ends, I'm going to be on my own. So like I kind of allowed that treatment to come to me, because I was like, I can't be on my own. At that time, I actually don't think I would have been able to be on my own.
Why was that such a scary thing at the time?
Like, so like I was in school when I was in the relationship, and I had friends in school, but in school I was this kind of girl that was quiet, and I didn't really talk about anything because I was so severely depressed and didn't want to talk to anyone about it. And no one in the class that I knew of had any idea of what I was going through. I would just come into school and not talk about anything, and then I'd go to Dublin and I'd be with them. So like being with him was nearly like this escape from the life that I had at home. And when I came to Dublin, it was like I could put on this face of like, I'm completely different here, but also like I didn't have to think about my life up there, because like he had control over it. So it was like I didn't have to think about anything, like he controlled everything. So it was like if that ended and I was on my own, like I think I wouldn't have known what my life was, because it was so controlled for so long that I was like, I don't know what life is without him. But like that is like that was one of the signs that I wish I caught on to, that like I didn't know myself without him.
You did what the biggest fear was, which was leaving. And like, what's that journey been like since fully getting out of the relationship and coming home to yourself, I guess?
Like after it, obviously it was like crazy. Like I just didn't know what to do myself. It was like I was moving away from home and didn't have to text my mum as like to where I was. So like after it, obviously there was like so much fear, but like so much excitement was brought as well. Like I got to hang out with people I wanted to hang out with and didn't have to feel guilty. And like I think like I met my people after that. Like I didn't know any of the people I knew. Like I knew you guys, but the community that we made, or that I made, and even myself after leaving that relationship, is a community that I know I'll never not have now. And I think that's just been such an exciting part to see who I am now. And like we've talked about it before, but like I wish there was a way to like film myself now and like send it back 2 years ago, and to like show the girl that was like terrified to be on her own.
And what do you think you'd say to her today?
That like she was staying where she thought she was safe, and she was staying where she thought would keep her brain safe, but like actually it wasn't. So like for like so long I was like, oh, I probably just say like I'm angry at her, but like I think my mindset has changed now, and I think I'd mostly just be like, I'm proud of her, because I'd realize how much in the next few months like she'd change her life, and she'd like take a grip of everything that she pushed away for so long. And I'd be like, you just need to deal with this stuff and like leave things that aren't going to do well for you. And she'd like, if she said to me, like if she was talking to me now, she probably just wouldn't think it would be real. Like it like doesn't seem real at all. But it's nice to be able to see the massive change that's happened though.
What are you proudest of yourself for?
I think looking back, I'm proud that I've taken the power back in that situation, that like it's mine now and it's my story. And just so many things. Like I'm proud of how I can actually trust people now, and how I can look people in the eye, whereas I didn't look people in the eye back then, because I was too scared of the repercussions that could come if I was too friendly to someone. So I think how I've just turned those things around, and like made kind of a new life for myself out of them all. Like she's definitely still a part of me, but like it's interesting to see how much I've changed from when that was me. There's so much more in my life than like other than this story, and like I don't want this story to be like, oh, Jordie the one that has that story, or like Jordie the one that like shared that video about her story. Like there is so much more, and that's probably the one thing that like I'd love to get across to people is like your story, like, yeah, like this is such a big story and like such a big part of my life, obviously, but like your story isn't like the whole of you. Like you can be anyone you want to be, like, and there was you before, there was you during, and then there's obviously you after as well. And I think it's something I have to keep reminding myself of, that like it's not my whole story, like it's a part of my story that I'm now going to take power over and use to help other people, but you aren't your whole, like that isn't your whole story. Like there's so much more to life than that little shitty part of your story.
Like, what do you think your why is?
Like pretty much all my life, I think my aim has been to like to help people, or to like to say something to someone and like it'll stick with them forever. But I think my why is probably just to help people and to like use the parts of my life that have like completely knocked me over and completely like flattened me out to like help other people, and to like, yeah, I'm going to go through things and I'll work through them and I'll heal from them, but I want to be able to use them. Like they aren't just going to be something that happened to me and I'm going to shove under the rug. Like that's something that has happened to me for a reason, and I'm going to use that for something or for someone.